The YAL1, the X-29? What do these even mean? Now, this is a really confusing subject, but if you are confused about this, perplexing system in which the military decides to put their aircraft, then stay tuned in this video because you're going to learn a lot. Now, if you're like most people, you're probably scratching your head thinking, what do these have to do with anything? How is an X-29 an airplane? You probably know F means fighter, maybe even that C means cargo, but YAL for a laser equipped? Whoops, I just spoiled it. I'm not going to talk anymore or give any more spoilers. Let's just jump right into the video. The military has designations for a lot of the letters of the alphabet, and starting out with A, we have A is for attack. Now, a good example of this is the A-10 Warthog. An attack is normally for ground targets, as air-to-air is what you're about to see. I'm not going to spoil it. This is the A-10 Warthog. It was used to take down Soviet tanks, or I should say shoot down, because they weren't flying. But yeah, so that was the sole purpose of the A-10 Warthog. And in this video, I'm going to be putting up in the cards, which are in the top hand right section, my videos of each individual plane that I've done. A-10 Warthog is one of them. Go check that out. It is a fantastic video. I think you're going to love it. B means bomber. Now, bombing planes, one good example, there's the B-2. That one actually looks like a kite, kind of. And they've really evolved in how they look and what they do. But basically, bomber planes fly over a target and drop bombs onto the target in order to, well, essentially make the target blow up. The B-17, the B-19, and this picture is of Fifi, which is a B-29 Superfortress. I did another video on B-29s, so you can check that out. C is for cargo, and the C-130 Hercules, the RC, now you're going to learn what that is, so continue watching, 135, and a lot of tanker planes. Now, I'm not going to tell you which one those are or what letter they have, but it's not what you would imagine, are actually secondary mission cargo. Here's what I thought to be a nice picture of a C-130 Hercules. I really like these because of how stubby they are, and they're not like all the long ones like the B-29 Superfortress you just saw. They're nice and short, but they are really good for carrying cargo. I actually have a video on this too! I really have a lot of plane videos. I'm surprising myself. Now you might be like, hey, hand axe and satchel, what is the A's and what do they actually do? Well, the A in A-10 is the mission. It's an attack. The design number means there were 9 attack planes for it, and the C is the series letter. And sometimes there's like the K before KC can be, for the KC-135, is actually a modified mission. You'll learn more. S is for anti-submarine, and yes, I did just jump out of order. But S is for anti-submarine, and what these do is they can actually go and blow up submarines, but first they have to find them, and in order to find them, there's a special letter for that, which you'll find out later in the video. But you're about to see a good example of an S. The S-3 Viking. Now, I'm no expert here, but that looks like a torpedo underneath. Can you guess why there might be a torpedo? Well, that would be because instead of missiles or bombs, like a lot of planes and fighter jets have, it would be a torpedo because their target would be submarines instead of ground targets or air-to-air targets. R is for reconnaissance, and one thing I want to point about reconnaissance is that there are 2 different types of this one that I really want to show you. So you have the typical, like, you get the spy type looking planes, the spy-like planes, like the SR-71 Blackbird, and these ones were used, I'm pretty sure, again, to find out the missile silos of the Soviets. Also, these ones can go at 3 times the speed of sound. But something you might not have guessed is the RC-135, which is also a reconnaissance plane. But remember what I said earlier about the secondary mission? Well, the R is the secondary mission, and you see what that C means? If you remember from earlier in the video, that means it is a cargo plane too. Another plane you might have noticed that they really utilize these types of planes because they have a huge amount of area and can have a lot of things inside of them. But another thing you're going to see is cargo planes mixed with something else. Remember when I said those submarines needed to be spotted by somebody? Well, they're spotted by P-4 patrol. And this is normally maritime patrol planes. So, and these patrol the oceans and look out for enemy ships, submarines, enemy planes. They just really patrol things, so. And we have the P-8 Poseidon to go with it. Now this might look like a cargo plane. And to me it does look like a cargo plane. But apparently it is a patrol plane. Note that. If you are curious about what I said earlier in the video, K is for tankers. Now, these are not like the A-10 Warthog, which take out tanks. These refuel fighter jets while they're flying. And I'd be like, hey, Axe and Satchel, why don't you just have the fighter jets fly down and then refuel? Honestly, I'm not sure, but I guess it saves time, probably fuel. But yeah, these help it to refuel aerial refuels. Another 135. Yep, this time it's the KC-135. You probably remember the RC-135. C-135s are really good multi-purpose planes. I'm pretty sure that's an F-15 in this picture. You should go and check out my video out on F-15s. They're fun planes, and they are really good at air dominance. L. That means laser. So, the L planes, there's not really a lot of them because they're really high-tech because they actually have a laser on the front. So that's something that should be noted. And in this next plane that I'm going to use as the example for the L, I should note that there's actually a Y, which added to the front of the letters, the stream of never-ending letters that means a military designation, means it's a prototype. So wait and see. The YAL-1. This is a funky-looking plane. Looks kind of like a Boeing 747, 737, with then this laser on the front. You can tell it's like a military high-tech kind of thing. You can really tell it's military by the fact that it says U.S. Air Force. T means trainer, and trainers are used to help young Top Guns, I guess, get good at flying. So they're not. If you've seen my F-22 video, you probably know that they cost $150-ish million. So you can probably imagine the military is not like, we're probably not going to hand out $150 million to someone who's never flown a plane. So they use trainers. One of those trainers would be the T-1 Jayhawk. Now, if you're like me, you probably think that that looks quite close to a private jet. I don't know the difference. Please tell me in the comment section below. X means experimental. And you might be like, why wouldn't they use E? Well, first of all, X and experimental works and sounds better, but E is actually another one, so wait for that. And one example of an experimental plane would be, I'm going to make you wait and see, but yeah, experimental means they're testing it and they're seeing if it would work. One example of that would be the Grumman X-29. This plane is funky. Look at how the wings go, like, backwards. That is neat. Also, it looks like NASA. Look at the tail wing. U is for utility, and these planes, I'm pretty sure the one I'm about to tell you was actually going to be used as, like, something else, but then they decided that to keep it under wraps, they would just call it a utility plane. So I'm not really sure why you wouldn't, I'm not sure what this would do. Does this help aerial utility? I knew KC tankers, the KC-135, that refuels in the air, but tell me in the comments if you know what utility is, but that is what U stands for, and you'll see an example. The U-2 Lady Dragon, that is this plane. It looks like World War II-ish, but, more modern. O is for observation, and these planes are used, in my guess would be probably like the patrol planes, but the patrol are like maritime patrol, whereas these guys, I suspect these guys go over land. Tell me what you think. It's actually a Cessna plane is the example I have for this. Tell me how many Cessna military planes you know of. The Cessna O2 Skymaster. This is a neat looking plane. It's got the tail of like a P-38 Lightning, and then you get the front of just a regular Cessna 172. It's pretty neat. Remember that about? That's for electronic warfare. Now that sounds pretty intense, but these guys are actually very important and are used to knock out enemy radio signals and electronic things because it's electronic warfare in the title. And these guys are super important, so important that they're actually guarded by a lot of times they're guarded by fighter jets. Now F is for fighter jet. And I told you that was one of the few spoilers I gave you at the very beginning of the video, but you've made it this far. You deserve to have it easy. I'll just tell you again. F is for fighter jet, and these ones, it's probably the easiest to remember. F is fighter, and they're pretty distinct when you look at them. Here's one example of the F-22 Raptor. I have a video on that too. You should go and check that out. Also, for F, remember how I said the F-22 Raptor costs $150 million? This is that plane. It has an extreme amount of stealth technology, and that's the one that we decided, or I decided, and thought that they probably would not want to just be handing out, and that's why they would use the trainers, like the T-1J Hawk it was? Yes. Yeah, F-22s are awesome. Now, if you've made it this far in the video, I just want to say how much I appreciate you and viewing it this far to the end. Thank you so much. I'm a very small channel, and it would be really helpful too if you could just click that subscribe button. And if you liked this video or any of the other videos that I linked to and are back on this video because you liked it so much, please hit that like button. I'm not sure it actually pushes the content out like a lot of people say, but it does let me know so I can make more videos like this. Subscribe too. And also, as a special gift for staying this long, you can check it out on my channel too if you forget, though. These powerful weapons give fighter pilots nightmares. And yes, this is another video that I think you might want to check out. It's pretty interesting with the different weapons and defenses that fighter pilots have to deal with and actually have to deal against other threats. Go check it out. It's a good one.